appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Apprentice, thank you for coming through, man. First of all, man, I mean, congratulations for the opportunity you had. I know it sucks you didn't get the win, but what have you been kind of doing since you got back from Asia? It was in Singapore, right?
Yeah, Singapore. What was it? It was only a week already. Just over a week now. Mm-hmm. So, no, I've had a bit of time to lick my wounds and sort of get my head together. Well, first off, I was thinking more about like, it's every time I seem to get to the big one, like I fought for a few world titles, and like the first time I fought for the Warrior Series, this time it seems to be like something's just getting in my way, and I just came away thinking, no, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I should be focusing more on the coaching side, and then no, that's just high emotions, and like say it is hard too because I dedicate my whole life to it and put my whole life into it, and no, like I don't have the time to focus purely on me because like everybody else, we have to live. So then for me to live, mine is coaching. So I'm putting a lot of time into coaching now and just trying to figure it out and see sort of where we're at. And
I guess as long as you're still involved in the game.
It's a lifestyle more. It's not like it's everything in one really. You know, it's my hobby, it's my lifestyle, and it's my job. You know, so it's sort of like I'm stuck. But I love it though. You stick me. I've tried it loads of times. I've worked on site. I tried as a salesman, and at the start I was like, oh, this is cool, and after a month I'm like, nah.
You get the itch back. I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard.
No, the money's not what motivates me. You know what I mean? It's like the happiness and even as hard as it is at times. Like there's obviously the MMA. It's not really rewarding financially, but it's the lifestyle that gives you and the opportunities. So it's limbo really. Because if you want the money, you have to go work. If you want to have fun, and sort of sacrifice the nice things. This lifestyle can be a bit.
And it's hard, I guess, when you're I guess in a similar situation to yourself, right? You've put your heart into it, and you don't come away with a win, and it's always got you kind of in crossroads as to is this for me or not? But
this one more so. I've had a couple little times before, but this time they really got to me. It broke my heart, man. It was devastating. I thought that this was my shot. I worked hard, trained hard. I'm working with the likes of Ross Pearson and Martin Nguyen, who's the highest level you can get in MMA, and they're praising me and saying what I'm doing right and giving me tips, and whenever you've got the top level and you're doing well there, and all you can see is the success, and it doesn't go your way, man. It's just like it's.
How did you feel your fight when do you feel like it went wrong for you, or
I just
feel like you didn't come away with it?
For me, I feel like that was my worst fight ever. You know what I mean? It was probably I thought was one of my better preparations out of them. Definitely the best preparation out of all 4 fights in one Warrior Series. No, I didn't have any weight to cut. I got myself in good shape. I was able to train right up. Like I said, I had a few little niggles and that, but that's where I had my physio team and sports massage. They kept on top, and just coming away in the fight, it felt amazing the whole way up. I was calm, I was relaxed, I had nerves, but nerves are good. I work with a mind coach, and he's got me controlling the nerves, and I don't know, man. It's like whenever I was fighting back home on the big stage and walking out in front of thousands, and the music and the build up, I thrived, really got the energy. And then I thought, like, when I went to one, I also enjoyed the calm, the martial arts side and the respect, but like I'm going in there and it's nearly taking me around to realise I'm in a fight and not spar. I mean, and I think now it's like, at this level, it doesn't matter where you're fighting or who's there, you need to be switched on at all times, and that's something I need to go and look at and think at, or get a bit of work on, is like, because I'm not really threatened or scared, and that's not a good thing either. Just being confident and then being overconfident. I think, to be honest, I was maybe a wee bit overconfident going in there. Because on paper he was the one with a better record, but he didn't fight as high a level as I thought. And I really thought going in there, like I said, I was working with top quality opponent or partners, and I thought, like, this is it, man. I'm gonna go in here and smoke this kid. And he just, even in the fight, I remember, like, he threw the first jab and caught me. It didn't hurt me or even faze me or anything, but I remember thinking, he's a step in front, because no one ever lands the shot, especially not at the start of the round. As the fight goes on, I'll eat 1 or 2, but not at the start. And then I was throwing, not getting my range and my distance, and I was just like, alright, I'm sweet here, like I was not, but that's where I should have been, alright, let's push the pressure, let's go for it. I wasn't, I was just like, fine, we'll work this out. Instead of trying to work it out, no, I should have been aggressive more. And then again, like on the floor, it's just impatient. But no, thinking back to the camp, there was one thing I maybe did lack, and it was like that defense. Because even though my coach and the drills and stuff, it was all live and we were doing it, and we were starting there, and I was escaping that, but there was no like specific defense from them positions, and that's where I lack most, because it's my patience. No, like I've 12 losses and like 8 of them and I get chokes, and it's all been the same way. I've rolled, give my back to try and stand. You know what I mean? And rather than just playing guard and all, and I always tell the boys too, and like sometimes you might have to lose the round being on your back, but not being threatened. But like to restart and the next round they come out and you know, like, I can't be there because I can't. He felt strong, I'm not gonna lie. Like whenever I felt the pressure on top, I knew it wasn't going to be as easy. And I think that's where sort of like, right, instead of wasting all this energy in the ground, get to your feet, because on the feet, it doesn't matter how big and strong you are. Like, I'm comfortable there. Like, that's my thing. On the ground, when someone's that bigger and stronger with technique, no, that's when things are dangerous, and I proved that. No, I remember mid-roll again, as I was doing it, I said to myself, like, fuck, you done it again. And then, no, but this time I got to my feet, where I usually following the coach, I got to my feet, and maybe it was like a wee bit relaxed on my feet. I was thinking, right, I'm here, I'm sweet. But I'm not. I've got a big strong boy on my back who wants this as much as I want it. You know what I mean? And then by that time it was too late.
But it doesn't seem, I mean, from what you're telling me, man, it doesn't seem like, I mean, it seems like things that are, that, you know, whether they're fixable or something you can get better at. It's definitely something. I mean, it's, you know, it's frustrating, right? It's like I always say, it's like a job interview, man. You go into a job interview and you come out and you're like, fuck, I should have said this, I should have said that. And you know, the hardest thing probably for you is looking back and reflecting, and then you have all these clear pictures.
Even the wins, you come back and win and think, it's just like, no, one of my problems, I'm thinking about my experience. That was my 49th MMA fight.
49.
Wow. But 49 fights, but I'm still only 27 years old. You know what I mean? Like, no, it was my 32nd, 33rd pro. You know what I mean? The rest have been amateur. But like, no, I went pro after 2 years, and again, like I say, things maybe a little bit rushed. You know, like a majority of my losses was all like short notice as well. So I'm taking fights, and it's top level guys with massive weight cuts. No, like weeks notice. I even took one against the number 3. Mike Whitney, he was on the Ultimate Fighter contestant. On 2 days notice, had a 7 kilo cut, no preparation or anything, and it's just like that's what it is. Because for one, this keeps me on the straight and narrow. This sport, it kept me off the streets. Whenever all my friends were starting to hit that age of drinking around the parks and taking drugs, now I was in the gym. I was in a boxing gym, and then moved straight to the MMA gym. But like, rather than still doing it, but like, do it on my terms when I'm ready. Just like yes. Like I find it hard to say no to a fight, and it's not because I think I'm hard or I love the challenge. Like, and it was only the other day, like again this weekend was a good weekend for me to really open up. I was in Adelaide for Diamondback. At one of my amateurs.
I saw that. It was one of the guys from the gym.
One of my amateurs. Bantamweight. He didn't get the win, but man, he's got something special there. That was his 3rd fight. He's been with me a year, and he fought an ex-Olympian judo black belt who had 8 MMA fights, 33 years old, just 10 years older than him, and the purple belt in BJJ. And Brandon took it to him, and it was only because of the rule set he won, where he spent most of the round off his back. And you're working for triangles, arm bars, on the feet he was striking. Went for takedowns, everything. So, but we're not on that anyway. It was that weekend away with him. No, I just like I had a lot more time to think. And just because you've only got the chill, like get on weight in, chill, relax. You're not there to party. You need to make sure he's observing his energy. And I started thinking. Then I watched an interview with Chris Fields. I'm not sure if you're on him. He's from Dublin. He used to be the Cage Warriors champion. He was part of the SBG. Whenever they were coming up, whenever it was like they were running this show from all like the respectful side, and like he was one of the main guys, and I seen him saying something the other day. It was like people thought he's got another fight coming up, and people was, "Oh, you're at retirement." He's like, "I'll never retire." for one, never fight, but what I do it for is the fun and the competition. And then I started watching back my old fights, and like I fought Gustavo Falsaroli, who's a big name in Australia. He was #1. I fought him in Brisbane, and I watched that fight, and that was me in my peak. I had a great weight cut, but I enjoyed the fight because I was fighting for fun. There was nothing on the line there. And like I say, even though I'm not feeling pressure and like whenever I get the big opportunities, like I thrive on it. It does give me that extra drive to keep going. But it's like there must be something in there where I'm pressuring myself. I'm like, if I could get my mindset where I enjoy the fight for the fight itself. No, I know it's going to be a totally different fighter. You know what I mean? I'm not going out there to fight for something rather than just myself and enjoy it. And when I seen Chris's interview, it sort of like clicked something in my brain again, and then I was like, oh, so maybe this is what it is. Like, you know, like stop thinking and need to be winning these big fights and expectations. And I get emotionally involved at times because I think, oh, if I get the contract, I can help my mum, I can help charities, I can do this, I can do that. And yes, I can. But I need to think about that when I get that, not before it. I need to just constantly focus, concentrate, get that win, and then whatever rewards come with it. Okay, well, I can do this for me. If I can help other people, then so be it. But like, as hard as it sounds, as selfish as it sounds, I need to just make it about me.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, #1, you do have to make it about you. But #2, it's not as easy as just saying it, and it's not. And that's what people don't understand. It's not as easy as just saying it. It's so easy to. It's easy to fall into that kind of trap as to like overthinking and thinking ahead 100%. Instead of the actual what's kind of in front of you.
That's it. And like I say, the big thing for me, and it goes right back to my younger days in school, is patience. Like, I've never been a patient person. No, even when my mum told me no, I wouldn't have stopped until I got yes. But I remember again, like I say, this weekend, like I say, it opened up a lot of things in my head, I think. And I remember going back to my first ever boxing fight when I was a little kid. And like after the first round, I started crying. Didn't want to fight anymore, and the gum shield, it was choking me, and so I didn't fight. And then I come back, and it was again. I think it's because I went in there and like. I wasn't at the finish. I mean, I realised after one round there was 2 to go, and then started flapping. Like, this is me as a little kid, you know what I mean? No, I was just like, there's always patience. Definitely patience being a massive thing, and like, it's so important. You know, and it's annoying and shit because it's only when I get these losers I start to realise, and then I get over it, and I get to a good stage again, good win. I think, all right, I've got it. And then I'll just be a bit more impatient.
It's everyday practice. It never stops. I mean, patience is something that is kind of been the theme of what I've been kind of going through the last 5-6 months, and what it's been telling me is that like I'm always like, okay, if something needs to be done. Like I was actually telling a mutual friend, my cousin Harry is obviously the owner of Full Garden, and I was telling him like the other day,
sponsors,
and one of Alan's sponsors too, go get your Full Garden, But I was just telling the other day, I was like, oh man, I was going on Instagram on the Monday or whatever it was to hit you up, and I said, you know what's funny? Like he had already hit me up, so he already was ready to do the podcast before I even hit him up. But I was like, oh shit, Alan actually messaged me already. But I mean, the funny thing is, it's like, okay, you gotta do something. Okay, I want it. Like in your head, you're like, I want to do it now. I want to do it tomorrow. Otherwise, you just feel like I'm not accomplishing anything. You know what I mean? But sometimes,
you contacted me obviously before the fight, and then we arranged it, and it's like, I feel like I
know
what to say.
While
it was in my head, and I was like, this. Now it's texting right when we kind of done for to go.
And for those that don't know, he was flying out on Sunday. He was trying to make this happen on Friday before he flew out, which is unfucking heard of by any fighter that I know that's willing to do any of these kind of things. So I appreciate that you have tried, man. But going back to I guess the topic of patience. I mean, from what you've told me, like it seems that it's a perspective thing too. But I mean, it's so easy to fall into that trap of like it's like you learn from what you've done differently, or you feel like it's not working for you, and then you achieve it, and then you think, okay, I'm good now, and then you realize quickly that it's a lifelong practice. It's week in, week out, every day. Yeah,
there's always something to add.
Yeah, something else will come up to challenge.
It's crazy though, because as I say in the gym, like I was the head coach. I've never sometimes the things I do, like I would never let the boys do that. Like, I'm always telling them everything, and then it's like I say, that whole ground thing. I was like, if you watch my fight and Brandon's fight the weekend, now Brandon's my amateur, has been there a year with, that was his third fight. You got me doing this 11 years, 49 fights, and he done everything that I should have done, because he was listening, he was concentrated. Also clicked the thing is like, I need coached again. I need, like, I get Johnny Barr, obviously my striking coach, and I've got Rico Oliveira's my jiu-jitsu coach, and them areas is fine and that, but like my whole MMA game, and like that's just certain classes I need. Like I feel like I need someone watching over me, like every day, watching over Johnny coaching me, watching over Rico over me, telling me what to do in the MMA stuff, because I'm my own coach basically. That's went to these people and organised everything. Like I said, I was travelling the whole of New South Wales nearly just for this fight. I was getting, it was 3 hours just to get there and back to Gregory Hills to train with Martin and the boys, and then try to get back to coach and do a little private or two just to get a flow, because I do privates, that's what I meant. And like I cut everything out, maybe 1 or 2 a week, just so I could eat really, man. I'm not saying that as if I'm poor and struggling. No, I'm not financially stable, but like, no, I'm not like, there's a lot worse out there in the world.
That's the state of. I mean, it's like that anyway. But this is just a rite of passage. Like, what you're doing, what you're doing.
I'm just saying what I done, and and then going up the Ross and that Central Coast. That's again an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back. No, it's maybe only 2-3 times a week I'm doing this, but like that's a lot. Like
it takes a lot.
That's 69 hours just traveling. Never mind the sessions alone, and then the coaching hours, and then but like I'm not complaining. Like the same. This place this position a couple of years ago, I've been bitching and gurning and using so many excuses, but at the end of the day, like everything I do is my choice. I've chose to do that. Yes, it's the only option I have, but then the other option is I don't do it. So no, I'm sort of caught in limbo at the minute, like, because I love it as well. Like I do love the training with the hard boys. I love that grind, and that's what I mean. In this camp, I got a new life. Like, I got a new lease of life again. I was like proper enjoying that hard push, and getting the mix in with them boys, getting out wrestled and stuff. But like I don't know, just in that fight, and just something wasn't right to be. Like I said, I have no excuses. I felt amazing going in there. Even when I stepped in there, I was like, just take your time. I don't know, it just wasn't meant to be, man. Maybe obviously my coach Rodney Moore from Northern Ireland, that's what he always says. He's like, I don't know what it is, but there's a reason it's not happening yet. And he's been, like I say, he's been very supportive and pushing me. And I think what my next options are for the meantime is like, until I'm a lot more financially, but also for myself, is like, go home again for 4 to 6 weeks when I got a fight. Especially as I would like to go back and fight locally again. And it's not me trying to drop back and fight at a lower level. It's nothing about that at all, because I'm not going to fight anyone that's not going to push me forward. You know what I mean? I don't want to be coming in there and fighting somebody that's been on a 12-fight losing streak just because I've had it upset. Like I want good level, and there's a lot of good level that never get the opportunities. Do you know what I mean? So as much as it doesn't seem as good on paper, like, oh, it looks like I'm going back, I'm not. I'm just going back to my roots. I'm just trying to restart, because again, we'll go back to the Gustavo fight. That was my second fight in Australia. The first one, he couldn't make it, and we came over, and then instead, obviously the second one he was able to come, and like, just his cornering and mine. Even though I'd done the camp here in Australia, that was the first time, and he came over. Like his cornering is everything he was saying, I just done it, and I was like, well, I remember that. Do you know what I mean? I remember all that. Like, I'm not like just taking me training partners to corner me. It's somebody that knows me. It's somebody that built me. So he knows, even if he's not seeing what I've done in camp, he knows my game. He knows where I'm best. And And I think that's going to be a big influence, and I think that'll relight that spark. And again, like it says, I feel like I want that crowd again. I want to walk out and feel the energy and the fire. No, I want to be in that fight like riled up and ready, not nice and calm and relaxed. And that's whether that be stay on the local scene for many years or maybe it's only a year. I don't know, but I feel like last week I was ready to hang him up and just focus purely on coaching and maybe start looking at other little bits outside of the coaching. No, just get my life on top. And then this week I'm just like, I'm ready to just have fun again and enjoy it. Just go out and
maybe that's
enjoy the challenge again. Not like do it because it's the only real option I have and because I want to, but like just enjoy it for what it is. Stop fighting about the win too much and just go out and fight. I mean, because like what wasn't even really the losing that got me. What beats me up and kills me is I didn't get to perform. Do you know what I mean? And it seems the kickboxing fight before this. No, again, felt good until then. Just in there, and I just had nothing. I just feeling there's no fire, there's no kill switch. If you watch my fight compared, like my last One Warrior Series fight to this one, no, I knew the contract wasn't on there, and I had an unbelievable scrap. It was amazing. I loved it, and I remember feeling in there, and like, I'm in a fight here. Because like he was near submitting me, I was near submitting him. He was on top, I was on top. He was not on the strikes, I was not on the strikes, and then I hit him that finish. And he still
you KO'd him, right?
Hitting the 1-2, the hit, and dropped him as I put my hands up like this. And then he was like the Terminator, the Undertaker.
Did the Tyson Fury butt up?
And I was like, kill him, hitting the knee. And to be fair, he still wasn't asleep. But I say we don't. Well, I don't know what other people do, but I'm not making enough money free fighting to make it my all and sort of where I'm thinking now. Still, obviously, like I said, I'm 27. I want to be in the UFC or I want to be in one championship, like, and I want to be the world champion because there's no doubt about it. But I'm just thinking, start enjoying it more, just like having it more for it's fun. It's not that this be my one and only. And some people's attitudes are different. We're like, no, you have to make it all. That's the way you're successful. Where I think, well, anytime I've been successful is when I've been enjoying it and having fun and not thinking about the win, just thinking about having a fight. And that's when I've been mostly successful. And that's when that's what's got me to these high stages. And then getting these high stages, I'm like, all right, you're here. Like, now you have to do this, you have to do that. And like, again, I enjoy the training and the build up, but it's just that there's just something there.
I feel like, man, not enough onus is given to, like, you know, as fighters or just even as athletes, right? You always just everything's just output, right? But not enough. There's not enough, like, I guess not so much information, but they don't really realize that that's just such a tiny aspect when you look at the larger aspect, like mentally, emotionally. You gotta be straight with yourself too, because there's a lot of extra baggage you're carrying, and to the naked eye you can't see it.
That's it.
But like, you know, whether it's your personal life, whether it's being relaxed, or whether it's being, you know, like you were saying, you're thinking about past the next fight because of what it would do for your family and etc. Right? These are the things that people don't see through the naked eye, that people carry home every day and back.
They just see the fight, and again, that's what I mean.
That's why sometimes, like you were talking about going back to Ireland, you were talking about thing. I can understand it because sometimes you just need a different perspective. Sometimes you need to go back to a place of love.
That'll just be for camp.
They
wouldn't ever.
But you never know what that does for you. What that does for your yourself, like emotionally, physically, mentally.
That's it. You know, I haven't any fights, and I have been missing like that. Coach Weller, my coach from back in Northern Ireland, or the coaches in Liverpool, like, you know, because that was like whenever I moved to Liverpool, it was just like seeing all. And I think it's the bond as well. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. There's so much that
they've helped me grow. And don't get me wrong, any coach I've had here in corner, like I've got them because that's who I've bonded with here. And like I've had Renato, with Tony or Antonio Caruso, and then obviously Johnny, and it's been amazing. It's great to have them, but I would love them and the other coaches. Like I say, they know this version of like the modified me, and they can see me, and like they see what I'm doing, and like they love it and tell me what to do here. But they grew me, so they can see a wee bit more. I believe, you know, I feel like they know where I went wrong from the start until where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Where he's only seen where I'm at now. Alright, you've done this wrong, so how do we go from that? Well, then this has maybe happened from
When did you come over, man?
So 2.5 years ago, I got brought over by ACB to fight in the Gold Coast. And then we had like a 4-week holiday.
Oh, nice.
Me and a couple of boys.
Yeah.
Because one of the boys, Dean Garnett, who's always another fighter, his brother was based in Sydney, and his sisters and that, and they had passports, and we had summer stay, and it was around Christmas, and none of us wanted to be home. We just thought, well, we're in Australia, let's make the most of it. It's not every day we get there. Plus, we've got our flights paid for us. So it doesn't matter. We picked our dates, so we came 2 weeks early and went like 4 weeks after, so like 6 weeks in total. And then like we were just at the end, I was just like, nah, I don't want to go home. I feel like something's good here. And then I wasn't interested in fighting anymore. Like not what I understood. I just felt again I hit that crossroad where I fought for a world title. Amazing performance, best camp ever went right. Got a no contest for a legal shot against Shay Walsh, and then came away. As much as I didn't get that, everything, it was as if I did get the win, because ACB came in there, which was a far higher paid show. No, they were third in the world. No, it was then Bellator UFC at the time, and a lot higher level opponent. They were starting to really do things. Got to travel the world more, so I came in, signed with them, and then had that loss against the Russian, and they just wrestled me for 3 rounds, and then I was just like, every time, man, it's just like, I can't do it. Like, I have no money, I have nothing. I'm getting fed up of it. You know, 11 years. No, sorry, it wasn't then. It would have been 9 years. And then it just was like, I'm going to stay in Australia, man. I'm going to just make some money, you know, enjoy my life a little bit, and then see where I'm at. And then, like, obviously, I had to do the whole visas thing. I was working on site, and I was working. Well, at the start I was working at Manly, living in Matraville, so I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning to get a bus just to get the boat across. They they cut down the trees and branches, they throw them in chippers, and then get the ferry across, and I was doing that, and then I had to go to New Zealand, get my visa, and come back, and then that's when I moved to Adelaide, worked on site, and come back to Sydney, and then I got the job in Legends as the coach. And then at that time, it was maybe around 6 months after that. And then I just was like, fuck the tools, get back in the gym. That's when then got ACB were coming back to Brisbane this time. They contacted me, and then I was like, yeah, let's do it. Got Gustavo, had again probably not the best camp. It was unbelievable camp, but the weight cut was perfect for this one, and I had an amazing fight. And I thought, I'm back. This is it. I nailed it in the head. Got the weight cuts down. I'm not struggling anymore. I've got my focus on, and for a year I couldn't get a fight. We tried every promotion, and some of it was because it was Australia, they didn't want to pay. Others they didn't want to put their champions or rest of top levels against me, and they just couldn't get any fights. And then I got the call for the Warrior Series. Well, I got a message from Fari from KMA and Brian Ebersol, both sent me the sheet to fill out and stuff. I remember looking at it at the start and thinking, I can't be bothered, there's too much paperwork there. And again, I was just thinking, why wouldn't I? If no fights, if nothing, and what's the worst that can happen? They say no. But I knew anyway, like just from watching past shows, I knew I could get there because like I know where my level's at. You know what I mean? Like it's not my level of skill. It's questionable. That's not where I'm at. It's the fight IQ again. I feel like I've just sort of slipped up a little bit, and it is because I'm not getting that. I'm not like doing fight specific training. I'm just training hard. You know what I mean? So
like putting in like game plans.
And things like proper. Before I was like, you don't need any of that. But like, and then when I think back again, I just keep going back and forward, and weighing up everything, and it's just making sense. And like, no, I should be studying my opponents a wee bit more. Like I do for my own boys against their opponents. Like again, Brandon, we knew he was a tough grappler, a tough little wrestler, judo guy on top, and to keep the distance was a thing. Pick him off, it goes to the ground, just keep busy. So I lie there, and that's a win. Yes, it didn't go away because he was a wee bit heavier, but no, the game plan was working. And then again, I'm like, why am I not doing this for myself? I mean, why am I not doing everything that needs done. Like, stop cutting them little corners. And, it's like at the time I think it's fine, and I've done everything because I'm training hard, my weight's down.
And you feel good.
And in the sessions I'm flying.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's all them little boxes outside, and that's where we need to be going and making sure.
But I mean, it seems like you've kind of analysed it in such a way that it's going to help you. Obviously get to where you're trying to get.
To be fair, that's been the support that's got me in this mindset.
Yeah.
No, like it's the support and the people around me at the minute. I've got very positive people in my life.
I mean, you need people that believe in you. You know what I mean?
That's it too. Like I say, I spoke to my coaches about it. And it's like there's no reason for me just to stop now. Like I say, I always think about my experience over my age.
Yeah.
I mean, when I need to think, like, I could have 100 fights by the time I'm 30, and it doesn't mean if I lose them all. It doesn't mean that's it. Then next thing I start winning and going up and up, and no, I've still got time.
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to the patience. And I just need to slow things down and figure. Like, I'm at the stage now where, like, obviously I've had the 4 fights on the One Warrior series. They can extend it for 2 or blah blah. But I feel that for me, my options are, well, what I feel was going to be best is they take a step back, go back local between Australia and back home, like the UK and Ireland, and I'll try and get fights on decent shows against decent level opponents, get 3 to 5 good wins, and then it puts me in a nice position again. That'll push my record way up over my losers, and then we can start looking at going back to the Warrior Series, go back to the Contender Show, or go to the Contender Show. Maybe the UFC and one will come in straight directly. You've got other promotions and like Brave and all the UAE side, this side. And then there's that new one, Probellum, which is going all over. So that's big. MTK, they do the boxers. Well, this is like their MMA side.
Oh, right.
And they've got like Ross Pearson fought on that show. They've got Paul Kelly now, who's just back after 6 years. He was one of the best UFC fighters from the UK. And they're all going on this show. So there's another new show that's coming up through, and like there's options there. There's options and avenues there. I need to stop putting all my eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? And that's when I had most fun, when I was traveling all different places and fighting different people. You know what I mean? So I feel that
you gotta find that line between it feeling like you get enough for work as opposed to, man, this is what I love doing, this is where I belong, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, it's just everything that I get from what you're telling me. It seems like it's not your doubt in skills, it's not your doubt in work ethic, it's not your doubt that I'm willing to put in the work. It's more like, how do I get the best version of me out, mentally, physically, emotionally, and tell me a bit about like what do you do in terms of like recovery and stuff, like during the week?
This time of done with, like I was so lucky and so blessed to have had Improve Your Movement out in Rockdale. So Rashan and Rip, they work with likes of UFC fighters too, Fasa, and all the MMA fighters in the local scene, and they reached out to me, and it was just like I say, I was lucky that week. I had a little shoulder injury, and then they reached out and we went out and had a talk and done a bit of work with them, and so they started working with the physio and dry needling and massages. And then I also had Danielle Conley, she's a girl who's just funny enough from where I'm from, Bamma, and we know each other. We never bothered each other growing up. But my sister and her would have been friendly at times, parties and that, and just we got chatting, and she came on board and was offering massage and dry needling and everything. So went to Rupin, the boy, and Rashan and the boys out, and they were to get mobility and still massaging and stuff, and Daniel focused purely on the massages. But that was good. That was one of the best things. Like, but what I will say is, like, one thing that I did do for that Gustavo fight again that I haven't done since was I used to meditate every day, and then I'd done hot yoga. And like
I was gonna bring some of that up.
And like again, it's only me now in hindsight when I'm way past it thinking about trying to figure out everything.
It's a big aspect.
The best I felt physically in my life, like felt as a person, was then.
100%.
I was free. I was fresh. I had no distractions. I had no cravings or anything. Like I could walk into the shop and buy a bottle of water without like second guessing myself to lift the bar job. Even 14 years old, that's what I was saying to me. I was walking up to buy that coffee, and like there's little cream eggs sitting there, and the first thing I just out of pure habit was to look and grab. But
it's funny you say that, because all the symptoms of what you're saying, the pros and cons of it, is exactly what happens when you have done it and and then you don't do it.
Exactly.
Like, so something that obviously off camera I'll give you the details with it, but there's a guy called Dan Anthony that I got introduced to through Rick, and he does it. He probably does it out your ways as well, like out near the city, and I'm pretty sure he does it around that region. He's all over New South Wales, but he so I've always done yoga and I've been a big believer of it, because I feel like there's nobody in this world that's got to go through that journey and of that self-realization and being able to be relaxed in yourself. Like, no one can do that for you. So when I've done hot yoga for like 2-3 years, obviously I haven't done it recently as much, but I've always, like, when I'm training whatever, I always do it. And it's because there's, like, going back to what I said at the start of the conversation, was that there are a lot of things that aren't got nothing to do with your training, your skills, turning up to the gym, training hard. It's just all mental, and you're just carrying that weight on your back, and you don't even know it till you do something like yoga, and you're like, fuck, I feel like I'm levitating on air. You know what I mean? You feel so calm and collected, and you feel so sure of yourself. So Qigong's like a mix between meditation, breathing, yoga, and Dan, who's I'm planning to kind of get him to come back and help me out as well. But I'll give you the details and check him out. But he's mixed it, and he's obviously got the Wim Hof breathing, which you would have heard about. So he's infused all of that in this 1 hour, 1.5 hour session, and he ends it with meditation. And man, I'll tell you, when I did this, first time I experienced this was probably early last year when I was having an amateur boxing fight. And man, I remember after that first session, I was like, just smiling. I was smiling at him. I smiled at Rick, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is some like drugs, like, you know what I mean?" But it was just, I felt like, you know what? I am doing everything I should be doing. I am going about it the right way. Everything's gonna be fine. And sometimes you just need something yourself to tell you, "Fuck, dude, you're all right, man. I'm doing everything I should be doing." You know, and you just gotta trust the process. And sometimes you just don't have, you know, and because you're training hard and whatever, it's output. But what are you, like, you know, we need to also kind of look deep in ourselves and realize that we're carrying all these excess emotional baggage, right? Like, for example, I want my family to live well. You know, that's a big thing you're carrying on yourself, you know what I mean? And sometimes you may not see it when you're training, but it's there. And sometimes you kind of dive in deep and be like, you know what, fuck, I need to, like, you know what, everything is going the way it should be going. So you know, I'll put you on to him, man. Like, just for what you're telling me, I think you really benefit off him, and I vouch for what he does, because I've always done things like yoga and whatever, and I was like, man, every person needs to experience this, because you just realize, man, I'm just carrying unnecessary shit on my back, when really I'm doing what I'm asked of, you know, what I'm asking myself to do, and what's asked of me. I'm actually doing that. I'm doing that to a T. But you need to tell yourself that that's what you're doing, and sometimes you don't. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I need to find myself, because I do everything myself. I do put a lot of extra pressure on myself. As much as I enjoy it, there is times I do need to step back, and like, that's where I go back to the camps, just going back home between Liverpool and back home to Northern Ireland, and it just be because all it will be, I'll be just training, but I'm being coached every session. We're working on certain things, not just going on balls to the wall hard training. There'll be specific stuff. So like, when I'm in them positions in the fight and that, I am camera live, and where they say that's everything was live. So when I was escaping them positions, I got caught in, and it was just scrambling. There was no real technique there, and that's probably where the mindset was. Where a wee bit more focus on purely myself. I think that's where.
Because I mean, like, you know, I just think we don't give enough credit to the fact that we're just carrying. There's so much that we got to think about, you know, not just training. There's so many other things that we think about, and once you kind of go down that rabbit hole of a bit of negativity, it starts to blossom into something that's it's not even necessary, and it's not even relevant, but we make it relevant because we're in that state of mind. There's that bit of fatigue, there's that bit of, you know, and what this did for me, and what it's done for so many people that I know that have done it, is just reassurance. It gives you some reassurance that, hey man, you're doing everything you should be doing. Like, it's cool, calm the fuck down. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. It's all good. You know. You're just thinking unnecessarily. you know, sometimes, you know, people overtrain, or, you know, they call it like anxiety training, right? You're like, fuck, am I good? Am I ready? And it's not to say you're doing it. What I mean is people do that, you know, and because they want to make sure that they're you know, their best version by the time they walk out to the ring, or whatever they do, whatever kind of sports they do. So this kind of just lets you know that, man, recovery is just as important. Like, just, you know what I mean?
You look after yourself. It's like,
because you're carrying so much weight, like I mean, not to say unnecessary, but then, you know, you're living a whole life, man. You know what I mean? And you've come out on your own, and you kind of been hustling on your own, figuring out where do I fit in, and, you know, you don't have like 20, 30 family members out, you know, and that kind of like setup, you know what I mean? You're kind of really living out on your own, and that's a lot to carry. And on top of that, you want to be champion, and on top of that, you want to, you know, look after your family. Fuck, man, that's a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
And I'm only 27.
Yeah, and that's what I mean,
I think
man.
I think they stop trying to have everything yesterday. Trying to figure everything out and doing it yourself, because like, no, it's not the way it's going to be.
Yeah, man.
Dude, like,
and there's nothing wrong with having help, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help, because it is a lot. Like what you're doing, it takes a lot to do.
Our sport, as they say, there's the majority of the time the rewards don't outweigh the risks. No, but no, we've chosen this path, and I know I can do something with this. It's just now finding out how I can do it right.
100%. And that's part of the battle, man. That's part of figuring out. But that's, you know, once you do, I think internally you'll know it and you'll feel it. You know?
We've done this last week, like, just not fresh off the bus. Would have been a totally different conversation. I would have been like, no, I feel like it's time now after I've tried, and it's not for me. You know, it's like 4th or 5th time I've been at the top, and it's just not for me. I think the coaching side, to stick to it, blah blah. But now, like I said, I've had a bit of time to, you know, refresh my mind and think back and look back into my old fights and dig deep and find out what was working, what was not. And now it's just to be moving forward and, you know, making whatever decisions happen or whatever I do in my life. You know, it has to just be like, whether it's getting straight away or if it's take a break. You know, because I know at the start it was like, I'm definitely taking a break at least. Where now I'm thinking like, no, I was like, I do think the break will help me grow, but at the same time, if I can keep, now I've got a nice fresh mind, you know, if I get back in there, maybe that's what I need. So like, I'm caught in limbo in this situation now. It's a mad sport, man. It's like, it sends you bipolar.
It is, right? It is, man.
Oh, me and my sister joke about it all the time. Like, it's like, my sister and my mom, they've seen it from the start. They've been every part of the journey. They've seen it, like, that's just say. One minute I'll be like snapping and shouting with, and the next minute I'm joking and laughing with them, and it's like, it's just that you're fucking
I feel that, it's like 100 seasons of emotions in one day. Hey, you're like,
my personality is like the Australian weather.
You just don't know.
Blink of an eye.
Tell me a bit about Ireland, man. Like where you come from, a bit about your family, man. Tell me
about like, I'm from a little small town, Bamma, and like it's there's.
So is that like outside of the city? Like
so it's about 30 minutes away from Belfast. No, some amazing people there, and there's a lot of good athletes there. You know, football, like soccer, big, and there's been some great soccer. But what seems to grab there is the drugs and alcohol and the negativity and religion and just all the little shitty things. And but they outweigh the good. Do you know what I mean? Like the bad outweighs the good, 100%. And it seems to be going even more downhill the last 2 years, and it is going up. You know, there was loads of factories, like a Michelin tire factory, Gallagher's, which was a cigarette factory. There was Wright's buses, Dale Farm, a dairy factory. You've got chicken factories, and the whole mill. They have loads and loads and loads of factories, and now they all shut down, and there's no jobs for people. There's nothing for any kids to do there.
So naturally, all these things start to creep up, right?
The only options they have is join a football team or a boxing gym or an MMA gym and do something, but that's not for everyone. You know what I mean? And that's only the options are the options are you either get up, get out, and go better your life, or stay there and go down the path that the majority do. And it's just be on the dole and take drugs and drink all weekend, or just work and party all weekend, or get a girlfriend, settle down, have kids. There's 3 options. I feel well. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them options, but I feel that is the only options you have. And like every time I'm speaking to my mum and my dad, and my friends and that, and they like tell me how much they love me and miss me and that, but like how happy and proud they are to see me away from that. Like, you know, I always get messages from people that live in your life and that, and I'm just like, because I'm choosing to. You know what I mean? Like in that place, I feel like a lot of people don't realise that it's the choices that they make, and like you say,
and at the same time, it's not easy to just be like, hey, I don't want this, I'm out. You know what I mean?
The suicide rate is it is the worst in UK. I'm near sure. Like, you know, I've lost like maybe 5-6 friends, and I know many more that have all took their life, and no, it's sad to see as well, because like the town has got a potential there. You know, it's got like big parks, and it's got like, you know, it's people you can go sightsee. Like I say, you've got young kids that have the ability to be proper athletes, but they just aren't getting the support and back, and it's sad, man. And that, again, that's another thing when I fight. It's like I wanna like stand out, and when people know where I'm from. I'm from Ballymena. You know what I mean? I'm proud to say I'm from Ballymena, but I'm not proud to be there, if you know what I mean. If it's like, and you're on the outside and you come to Ballymena and you see all the bad shit, you're like, oh, this is bad. You know what I mean? But like, it's not everybody's.
But it's motivating for, I guess, people back at home. If they see it, they're like, fuck, you know what? He got out. And that's it, like, you know what I mean? And that's motivating, man.
I've got lots of like, my mums and dad's friends that support me and email me, and they're all proud of me. And like I say, and like I have went and spoke to little youth groups now, because when I was younger, man, I was little shit. Like, I was never a bad person. I never really went out and got in trouble in the police. I had a bad temper and maybe reacted in ways that I shouldn't react at times. I was never a bad person, man. I was always a good heart. Like, I've always been soft when it comes to it, and you know, like the youth clubs in school, I didn't make it through school, and again, I didn't do it bad. It was just like the end of the long road. They said, no, I just couldn't take no for an answer. I had to do things my way. But I think it's because like there was nothing in school really interested me. I couldn't play football. I tried. It was crap. It was like any sport I tried before I was 16. It was below average. You know what I mean? And that's when I went to this MMA. That's when it all clicked. But like and then I went and spoke to the youth groups and stuff, and like, you know, trying to encourage them and say to them like that doesn't matter what you do with your life. Like, you know, as long as it has a positive impact and you put your work and ethic into it, like, go and do it and go and find it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't always have to be done straight away, and if that doesn't work, that's the end of it. And I feel like in Ballymena, that's what people think. But when they do try and do something that fails, that's it. They'll just give up and go straight back into the bad side. And that's not good. Like, no,
it's a vicious cycle, man. It just carries on, you know. And that's what people don't realize. It's a generational thing. Like, end of the day, even if you being out here, you're still carrying that weight. You know, because that's the environment. I mean, that's, you know, your parents would have gone through that too. That's why I tell people, like, you know, especially people from my background, or anyone that's kind of come through as a migrant. You're carrying generational curses with you, because that's just how it was for them, and then it's in your head whether you like it or not. And that's why it's so important to kind of find what it is and separate it, because it's like, if that keeps lingering, then it's just that vicious cycle is just going to keep going, man. It's just going to keep going. So you were there pretty much all your life too. You kind of came over here for that fight.
Well, I was. When did I leave? So when did you
start training? When did you start kind of getting into MMA?
So I used to do that. Like I said, I used to do football, taekwondo, and rugby. Just never good at really anything. Went to boxing. Stayed there when I was 12. Stayed there for like 4 years, and again, I was never a great boxer either, and I was just. I just loved it though. I committed to it and really dedicated.
And they love their boxing there too. I was gonna say.
Boys for fight, like.
That's what I was gonna say.
When I was 16, I went to tried out the MMA one time, because one of my mates was just doing it. I didn't even really understand. I remember, did you just have Bravo over here? The channel Bravo? Nah, so on Sky there was a channel, like channels. One was Bravo and the UFC was on that. That's before it broke pay-per-views and that. It was just on that, and I remember watching it, and then it went to the ground and you just turn it over every time. It was like, comfortable watching all this hugging shit and blah blah blah. And then the mate joined, and he came back with a few cuts and bruises one time, and I was speaking to him, like, he was just finished sparring, going to get it. Like, so when he was just starting to get into it, started to diet and stuff, so he was eating his rice and I seen him at the shop and he was chatting, and I don't know why or what made me want to try it. No, I just seen that he was trying it, and he had a couple of cuts and bruises, and instead of thinking, oh, I'm staying away, it made me want to try it. So I went and gave it a go one time, and like, the first night I just clicked with it. So I done it for like 4 weeks. I was only one night a week for 4 weeks, and then I had loads of boxing fights up. So I walked away and just boxed, and then at the end of the boxing, it was just that they had an argument with one of the coaches one time, and I was just like, oh, I can't be arsed with this. I'm just going to go and do this MMA stuff. So at the time, the gym then had improved and they moved, and the coach at the time was Michael Redmond. And I remember he lived across the road from where we it's mad because we ended up just moving here recently. I started falling out with the boxing, started looking towards the MMA, but there was a waiting list. So I called over to Michael's and knocked his door, and he says, blah blah, got chatting, and it says, can I get on this waiting list, because no, I'm not want to do boxing anymore, I want to see what this MMA is all about. And he says, no, he says, come down tomorrow and I'll take you over. Yeah, so I remember like it was yesterday, man. I remember like next day I was walking over and I had a wee bit of nerves as well. I was like, shit. You know what I mean? I got in and that was it, and I haven't stopped ever since. I'll be I'm over 11 years now. I'll be 12 years this November or October.
Probably, and the sports obviously grown so much since then.
So much. That's what I mean.
And you obviously you've gone back.
I've seen everything. I've seen everything.
Yeah.
From then, like I've seen it how it used to be to where it is now, and the changes in people and the promoters and no, like it's like, to be fair, back then it was more fun.
It was?
Far better. It was like there was this bullshit, and no, like I was fighting on a Sunday sometimes back in the gym on Monday, and maybe fighting again that Saturday. And like I say, that's why I have so many fights, because I was just constantly, there was opportunities everywhere and competing, and it was fun. I mean, we're now for an amateur they have to do a 12-week Camp Cup fucking major weigh-in. What's this about? It's and promoters are trying to like get as many amateur fights as they can, and they change rules and add certain rules which basically is pro, except for like an elbow maybe, and then just expecting fighters to do that and not get paid, and then no, it's all bullshit, man. It's like there's amateur and there's pro, and that's what it should be. It should be separated. No, when you're an amateur, you learn the craft, you have fun, enjoy it, and then if you feel like not you, if you're coaching and you as the team feel that you can do something with it, and then think about how you're going to do it then as a career. That's what I feel like the sports where you've got these amateurs. I think they're Conor McGregor after 2 fights. I mean, it's just they think this is cool and all their little friends and that, but it's bullshit, man. Just be yourself, enjoy the process. Well, like, don't get me wrong, I used to be a mouthpiece when I was younger as well. It got me fights at times, it got me experience at times. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But like again, as I learn and move on, like. No, it's not really just the way it should be. Like you say, amateur, enjoy the process, and have it as a hobby, make it your hobby, and something you love and enjoy and look forward to, rather than having doing because you have to. You know what I mean? And plus, because the pro ranks aren't as fun, man. Like especially now, if people don't want to fight, they don't want to risk. You know what I mean? They want to keep the 0 on the record.
I was gonna get to like the politics. I've had a few people tell me some some stuff.
It's bullshit, man. Like, you don't getting wins against people maybe are on a 5-fight losing streak. For one, they shouldn't only do a bit of jiu-jitsu and boxing. Bringing them in to fight. One, somebody could get badly hurt. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't. I guess that's why the rule sets and the referees is good. You take a good shot, it's over, or a couple of strikes, it's over. But like picking fights and trying to keep that clean record, just it's not. I don't believe that's the way the sport should be. Like, you want to be challenging yourself, competing. Like I've never had an easy, I've never picked. No fight's really easy kind of the fight. But
every fight's
I've always had tough opponents. Like whenever I turned pro, the people I started fighting were the top amateurs who turned pro. Turning pro against some journeyman who was in to get paid 200 quid, maybe 12 losses, just so he can go out and on the piss all weekend. You know what I mean? Like, and you see that so much now. You see too many people picking fights against fighters that have nothing going for them at all. And like, as promoters, I think it's bad. More so, I think the promoters did blame on the fighter or the coaches. Yes, coaches can try and talk to the promoters, but the promoters make the decisions. They match the fights. And again, it's all down to the ticket sales and how much money and stuff they can make rather than the fighters.
I mean, what do you think of like the state of MMA here, and just in terms of how they go about making fights with pro
Australia.
Yeah, in Australia.
I feel Australia MMA is picking up massively. I feel like where this is where the UK and stuff was. I feel like they're just a wee bit behind, but now the scene's smashing. It's good, but it's amazing, and it's at a nice level. And I don't see too many setups. No, you'll go to a show and you'll see maybe someone do like the amateurs and the pros. They can see who's been handpicked opponents and who hasn't. You know, but I feel like majority of people over here are willing to have a fight, because if you look, there's not many with unbeaten records. The majority of people have a few losses and have good wins, and it's because they've been challenging the best as they're up and coming until they get here. Do you know what I mean? You get the odd couple or the odd one or two that all have the unbeaten record, but then you look at their opponents' level and it's just like, I don't know how they can how people can want that and feel good off that. I go in there and you beat someone who you should definitely be beaten. You know what I mean? Who probably shouldn't even be in there with you, and thrive off it and proper love it and celebrate over it. That's not successful. Do you know what I mean? That's like you've been given that. You know what I mean? When you have to fight and earn it, and you challenge yourself, and then you beat them, and you know you've done that. That's what the sport should be about, man.
I think what you just said about promoters, I mean, it all starts with them, right?
They're just after the money, man. They're just, don't get me wrong, you get a good couple of promoters.
I've had some fighters that I know personally, pro MMA fighters, that have had their piece. They've we've had good conversation on the side, and they've had the shits with some promoters and just not being able to get fights, and then
that's
something that
and money too. The likes of me who I fought for Tom Akuma, who's the number one in Europe at the time, fought him a world title live on TV, main event, sold hundreds of tickets from Belfast to try to Dublin, and got paid buttons, man. After the fight, after I paid a few things, it was back to square one. And then you see other fighters who's getting fed, I will say can crushers as such. He's getting paid maybe 5 times as much as me, and I'm just like, what the fuck's this about? I'm willing to fight anybody. No, and just pay me a little bit more. You're giving him money. You know what I mean? You're giving him free money, but because he's got an extra few Instagram accounts or an extra few followers on Twitter or.
And I made this point. I made this point to someone the other day about even fights, and I said, look, as much as it hurts you to believe this, how you market yourself, how you brand yourself, how you do those things has slowly become more important than fucking having 20-0 record or 30-0 record. You might have 10 pro fights. Someone has had 5 pro fights. You might have 20 pro fights. Someone has had 5 pro fights could stand above the crowd, 100%. All by the fact that they are connecting with the promoter. All they see is money, and they can sell. And I said, I hate to believe it, but really that's the truth. And that's obviously, we'll speak about what I wanted to have a chat to you about, but that's kind of what I'm trying to now do with certain people that I'm with. I'm trying to get them to realize, man, you can't have that mentality of just like, oh yeah, man, I'll fight whoever, I'm 10-0, 11-0, because it doesn't mean shit these days. If you want to fight in the big promotions, there's so much more work.
Well, actually, you see that as well. And you see, and a lot of them people, they maybe have to go 15, 16 before they get the call. And then they get the call because they have 1 or 2 good names in there. They wait until the names stand out, and then that's bullshit too. The best one for me was whenever Art and Lobov got signed for the UFC, and people were like, "Oh, how can you sign?" But I believed he should be there because even though he's been in there with 11 record or whatever, look at the opponents he's got, man. He's fighting people. He's willing to fight. He's willing to take them short notice fights on the risk, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you should take that, and sometimes you should say no. Definitely. If you're not prepared, don't do it. If you're ready all the time and you're prepared and you get the short notice, there's a big difference there. Do you know what I mean? And people turn down fights, man, 4 or 5 weeks notice. Short notice. How the fuck's 4 or 5 weeks short notice? 3 weeks isn't even that short notice if you're still half ready. Do you know what I mean? On a week, on a couple of days, that's short notice. You know what I mean? And you'll see there's not many that are willing to do that. But I feel like Australia MMA is fun here now, man, because I can see it's where we were at a stage, and you see it growing and building, and then you've got likes of Volkanovski and Whittaker, like champions.
Obviously, with their success, obviously,
and also you're starting to see the level now. People are starting to understand the whole MMA aspect and put it together, and you've got all the young kids coming through, and it's good, man. I feel it's in a good place now, and it's going to get better. And I just hope that I think the sport in general is starting to turn around a bit. I do believe that. Even in the UFC, like it seems like the good fights are getting to fight the good fighters.
Yeah.
They got one championship, man.
Yeah.
Every fight's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got all the top fighters in the world fighting each other. And all the the local scene, it seems like the best fighters they're having a go now. And that's where I feel Australia MMA is at, and like I just hope it stays this way.
I think they just gotta also like promote. Just gotta. It's funny because one of the things that, I think it was Combat Sports New South Wales were just passing this kind of survey around.
They're the worst I've ever seen.
Bro.
For one, you've got a bunch of businessmen who's never fought, never done anything in life, calling the shots. They don't even know.
And so basically I was like, you know what, fuck it. I don't know if they're going to read what I'm going to write, but I got a shit to get off my chest. Because someone pulled out, like, I was like an amateur fighter, right? But regardless, I was like, man, so much fucking work got put in, right? And it's like, and all it took was like someone, I think it was like maybe a week out, they had matched me, and then literally the next day or day after, it's coming out of the sauna or something, and they're like, hey, they pulled out. And I was like, fuck this, man. Like, I put in everything, like, and I always used to tell people, even as an amateur, I was so lucky because I got to surround myself around pros. So I learned not just fight skills, I just learned how to carry myself. They're the little gems that really kind of take you to that next level when you just learn how to look after yourself, how to your work ethic and all these little things. So it annoyed me because I was like, fuck, it's like 3 months, 4 months of just training. And I wrote back and I was like, and one of the things I found, I think they're introducing it now, but I was like, yo, you got to filter out the bullshit artists. Like, you got to start filtering out people or hold people accountable. So that's the word I used. I was like, no one is held accountable. So when there's people pulling out or whatever, for whatever fucking reason, a fucking broken shoulder, like 1 week, like, what are you doing that you're breaking your fucking shoulder? I know there's freak accidents, but man, like all these, and I'm like, it's like, no one's held accountable, right? And then what happens? The guy that's been cutting weight and etc. and preparing himself.
The reason is that nobody can even step in because they're not registered or something. And
so
that's fair enough, but it's still bullshit as well.
But like,
you should be able to sort of right up until there's no reason. If you can do it then, it's all computer system. Shouldn't be time just because you got a couple of these.
So there's got to be a better system in place to counter that, because I felt like I just couldn't believe. And then when I spoke to pro athletes, I couldn't even believe when they were telling me, they're like, dude, you think it's amateurs, like pro level, there's pull-out merchants too. It's like, they're like, it's fucking frustrating. So I had a good friend of mine, is a MMA, he's gone pro, and he's like, man, I'm just fucking frustrated. And he's like, I don't even want to say shit because I've got nothing nice to say.
It's not,
you know what I mean? And that's frustrating in itself, that if someone says, hey dude, I've got a date, a place for you, and an opponent for you, and then all you have to do is be able to prepare. If you can't just have it that simple, where a date and a place is set for you and a date is set for you, and then you have to stop there to think every week leading up to that this shit might not go down. You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, that is stress alone enough.
And that's like, that comes to the weight cut too, then, because like, until you both weigh in, until you're really at the venue and in that cage, you don't know if that fight's going to happen. Sorry,
no, you're
and that's when the weight cuts come in, because I've done it massively. I've even missed a couple of times. Like, I'm cutting like 15, 16 pounds, 24 hours, and all, coming down 7, then cutting 7 kilo, and like, it's not good.
It's not.
And that's where I like one's method, but again, it's still not 100%, because people are still cutting weight. They're just finding a way to cut weight and pass a hydration test. Or like, so it needs to be more, like you say, accountable. It needs to be more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like a process in place. Where there's account, like, they know what's like, have accountability of what's going on.
Take full responsibility. Be fully on it and aware of it, and push hard on these.
Because I believe, like, if people start getting held accountable, right, and you start to filter that bullshit out, the quality of fights, 100%, the quality of the athletes, and what you get out of them, and then there's $60-$70 that people are paying for tickets for an amateur night. Fuck, at least, you know what I mean? Like, that alone,
everyone over here is money to get fights,
like a main event pay-per-view. Like, I understand that they're going to pay for the place and whatever. I understand that, but I just like, like if you're talking about quality and standard and what you're trying to set, when you're spending about $60-70 for a UFC pay-per-view to watch that, and you're paying highest level of MMA, right? And exactly, and you're paying about the same. Like obviously people like one of the things I was saying is that what are you doing to promote it? Because it's in the same fucking place it's been in the last 3-4 years. Same like what are you doing to increase it? Like stop focusing on just fighters and the fighting world. Like grow out, branch out to other industries, so that's how you can kind of build that sense of that business aspect and grow the sport as well. Because if you're just focusing on the same people, say selling tickets to the fighters' friends and family and selling it to the people that always come there, then it's just going to stay the same. 100%. So what are you doing about promoting it in these areas? Like how are you going to get someone that's about an hour and a half away to come down to watch something? Watch fight, because they're fight fans. Like my brother's a massive boxing head and a massive boxer. Growing up, like he was the guy getting the fights and everything, right? He's my child. And man, I remember he used to tell me, he's like, man, it's not that we don't want to go watch fights, we just don't know where to go. You know what I mean? So the people, sometimes people just know certain promotions and whatnot because they're going out looking for it, or they know someone in it or part of it, or 100%. One of their mates is a fighter, and then it kind of grows out from there. You know what I mean?
Is like they want to, like, I understand it. This costed a lot of money, and they're all saying like, oh, they're not going to sell tickets, so the business. Well, how can people sell tickets and gain fans if they're not getting opportunities? So I mean, you get these promoters, and the majority of them are old fighters themselves, and they think because they know best, and it's bullshit. Like you're not bringing fighter over because he won't sell tickets. It's disrespectful for one, I find. But again, like these fighters need fights so they can get people behind them. So I mean, and there's not maybe on their state or where they're from, there's maybe don't have that opportunity. And you can't expect a fighter to pay their own way. It shouldn't ever be the case. For us, like a fighter to pay to fight is bullshit. You know what I mean? For one, they have to go over, maybe they have to take off work, they maybe get injured. No, they don't know what could happen. No. Give the fighters a little bit more and see what happens. That's what I believe. Put more into the fighters, make a big damn. At the end of the day, without the fighters, there's no show. You know what I mean? Like, and again, like, when I fought on some big promotions and you're hearing pay, we're the lower end of the pay, but yet we're the ones out doing it. It doesn't make any sense, man. It's fucking bullshit. Like that's the only side of it that really pisses me off. Is like, and then you get the fighters that won't say anything, and they're scared because of these dickhead promoters. You know what I mean? They don't want to put him on a show because he's honest. The truth, like I remember, like so I used to say stuff. We'll not get into it now because. But I say we certain someone back home, and like everybody was against me. But now they're seeing, oh fuck, he was true, he's right. So now I'll just sit back and watch now what I was saying years ago. They're saying about their old mates or their old teammates and stuff, and I'm just
that's my point, mate. Like, that's my point, exactly.
Just look, if something's being said, look at it from the real point of view. Are they being serious or are they being jealous or dickhead? And you'll find out majority of the speakers that do speak out, they're right. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it's just bullshit, man.
And that's kind of has always been my view of it and my understanding, from not just from my perspective, but just talking to people. Like, I make it a habit to talk to the people that are actually part of it as well, and not just promoters. I'm talking just people fighting, whatever it is. But it's something that I've noticed. I've just noticed, in my time. And I spoke to Elvis, who obviously Kings of Canada. So when I went down there, and me and him were having a chat on the side, and I was telling him, like, I was asking me about mentioning, he's like, what is it that you're trying to do? And I said, man, I'm like, they're not gonna help. It's not gonna help by just staying in that same little circle all the time. So like, we've got to create a platform where they're involved in so many things, so that helps not only build their brand, brings like people that aren't pure fight fans, but they're still willing to see what's going on, willing to read about this person or watch what they're, and build it. And he was telling me like his gym has been open to like, I think like Bachelorette and all these other random thingers. And I was like, and when he said that, I was like, I'm so happy to hear that you said that, because what he was trying to say is, I'm not just trying to cater fight fan. I'm trying to cater it as much bigger, where you start to bring in other crowds and other people and other businesses. Well, through that, you can grow. More people are going to be involved, which more investors and more people want to be part of it. I mean, just look at the UFC, bro. They sold the $4 billion to the agency that looks after actors, and now fucking A-list actors are there, you know, and they got the movement now, you know what I mean? Like, it's just all the process, but you need to involve other people, you need to involve other organizations and business and people that can bring a value to grow the sport. If you just keep targeting to the same people that are going to turn up all the time, you're not going to leave that hall or that fucking, you know, that,
And like, that's another thing, as a fighter and a coach, that's what's important for me too, is like, no, the game does move forward, so you can't stay and get stuck. You have to be open to moving forward, open to new ideas, open to bringing other people on board, like you said. No, and that is a big, massive thing. To move forward, you have to have the right people, right?
And so hopefully, like, you know, in time, the more and more they kind of see it, or people talking it up, they'll move that way. But I think till they start, you know, moving that way, or until they decide to do it, it's just going to remain the same. It's just going to be the same old people are going to be frustrated about it and be like, oh fuck, you know.
So the majority of good people do get
people have walked away. They're like, oh fuck, like, you know what I mean? And they're talented, but they just don't want to do with it.
It baffles me at times. And like, you know, you get so many good fighters, just at the right fighters at the wrong time. I remember when I first started, my coach and like his team, and man, fuck, like, they were unbelievable. And the majority of them fighters just on the taxis or back working and they just done it for fun and love. And like my coach was telling me, man, he's even sometimes paid his own flights just to go and fight. And like, again, he only had a handful of people, never had any backing or support or anybody interested. And they've worked so hard and created the pathway for us. The people forget that. They only think about now the generation, the people they see, but the people you don't see is why you see these other people. Do you know what I mean? And then champions who's in the fight, well, who are they training with? You're not seeing the people that's beating them in the gym, or you know what I mean? And like, there's not enough respect for the sport and people. It's all about the one that stands out. Like I say, and like that again, there's negatives to that. There's pros to it. Like I say, there is to everyone, but no, I feel like.
But not everyone has that. Respect. And no one has that same platform. Like, even if you have someone who can put themselves out there through whatever it is.
My coach, he went for the Ultimate Fighter trials with Mike Bisbee. You know, the one he won. And they went over. He took to America and that, and they came to the interview stage, and he said he ticked all the boxes: the bald head, the size, he could fight, the tattoos looked good. No, I had the Irish in him, and they didn't speak. He didn't smack talk. He was a respectful coach, and that's what they said to him. Physically turned around and said to him, like, no, you could tick all the boxes, but you can't. And he says, let me fight and I'll show you my speaking in there. And then he was like, well, we'll just keep you in reserve and wait. And then he was like, nah, fuck, I'm not waiting for no one. I mean, and just right he was too. Like, just think if they'd give him the opportunity for the right reasons, where did his life have been? You know what I mean? Like, and like I had no doubt in the world that he could have went the whole way as well.
Well, it's funny, you know, even you know, when Colby Covington came out and said, like, after that Brazil card, like, where he went off at the Brazilians, right? He was cut because he's not putting any bums on seat. So after that card, he was saying he said that shit that he said about Brazilians and whatever, and he's like, if I didn't, he goes, they were gonna fucking cut me. And then you end up seeing him fight Usman, and it was one of the fucking best fights there. Well, and it was like, can't believe it. I'm like, you know, but I mean, it is what it is. You know, end of the day, it is what it is.
Sport is,
you know,
Like I say again, it's good too, because
that's why I think you got to be ahead of the curve a little and just be like, look, I fucking hate it. I hate this aspect of it, but
unfortunately,
what choice do I have in it, right?
It's finding a way of doing that.
Without
still keeping your morals.
That's it. I was gonna say, how do you keep it authentic, but without selling yourself?
Get it going again. Tell yourself, and then it's nice, straightforward way, but keep your morals about you a bit, like, and no, there's ways of doing it too. But everybody loves a bit of sly talk. Don't get me wrong, and like I say, I've been a mouthpiece in my day too. I'm sure, like, next time, because there's no doubt that, and that's because like I say, get things right, and I know I can be up at top.
100%.
I'm sure I'll get some little fight, and then I'm not going to sit back and say, I'll give him back. You know what I mean? Like, we'll go back and forth and get that argy-bargy going, because like I say, no, you do have to sell yourself, but it's about respect, like, no, there's a line, and
not to the level where
there's no reason to get too personal and crossing, or like, get it going, get angry with each other, do what you have to do just to get in there, so you're going in there and fighting the best, No, and then after obviously.
End of the day, it's like a gladiator sport, right? So you're gonna obviously have the shit talk or not, but yeah, it shouldn't be the focal point between someone being able to actually be successful and get a contract and fight. That's just supposed to like you know what having your friend like fuck he doesn't have a good mic game, so because he doesn't have a mic game, he doesn't tick the box. It's like fuck, you know what I mean?
Okay, well, let's see him fight, and then they try and help him. Yeah, it's in there. It's okay. You don't have to do the whole smack talk, but like, you know, give yourself and encourage them, help them. You know, work as I feel like. Not enough promoters want to work along with fighters. They want the fighters working for them.
I agree with
really, promoters should be working for the fighters. We're the ones fighting. We're the ones risking our life, man. Like, and people say, that's dramatic. Maybe, but Walt Texas one wrong shot.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's a team. It's a team sport. I think you know, especially like this early,
like
local
scene.
Yeah.
And what like in Australia, man, like every show I've been a part of, you know, Urban, the Diamondback. No Eternal, and we've got a few local Super Fight and North Shore War, all them. And the promoters have been great, to be fair. They have. Promoters have been good and they have worked along with like anything. You know, there's been certain rules that on some shows where I feel it's too much for an amateur and I've said I don't want this, and okay, we'll tell the partner, no, they've agreed. No, we tell the government, whoever it is, just combat sports, whatever state we're in. No, and it's all agreed, and it's good. That's why I feel it's been working well to us. So like say, just why can't the big ones do it? The main ones, the ones that really count. You know what I mean? It should be vice versa. The local ones should be they should be working too. But if anything, because local shows aren't right there making millions either. So they do need a little bit of push towards the ticket sales and stuff. Look, the big ones who's got the money. And then they're trying to make on top. Like I know you have to spend money to make money. Like, but man, fucking spend a bit more then to get this a bit. I mean, let's go and eat. Steaks all weekend. Not once a week.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone's even asking for that, man. I think you're just trying to just
Like say,
but I think from a platform like an entertainment platform, there's so much more work I think can be done locally. Like. Man, I've had like ideas of just like how do we just get this like I mean I know certain promotions live stream, but how do we do it? How do we do it in such a way? How do we do it in such a way that you know I can just I spoke to my cousin about it. I was like, man, like I would love to like the jiu-jitsu tournaments, right? That happen at Sydney Uni and all around. I'm like, fuck, how can we just live stream it so that someone could just go on the internet and go boom and just watch it. They might be chilling at home or whatever, but you know, get it at that level where you can actually like obviously, you know, you look at Europe or the US, fucking from grassroots all the way up. Like you're a fucking star before you even hit the big leagues out of your town because they're all watching you. They know you. Like you look at the way NFL, NBA, you got the grades and you got the college. You're a fucking superstar way before you even get there. The hype by the time you get to the big leagues, the hype's behind you. You know what I mean? So it's like everyone's watching you. Like you know what I mean? When there's NBA, everyone's watching you. By the time you hit the NBA, by the time you hit the NFL, they already know. Like you know where you're from, how big you are from your town and your suburb, where you're from. You know what I mean? So there's so much growth. Like it's just as long as that conversation's willing to happen. That's the most important thing, you know what I mean? End of the day,
people involved for that. You need the people that want it for that, though. People see this as a business.
If you do it out of love, man, everything else will work itself out. You know what I mean? Like I think, like for the growth of the sport, but fuck talking for a second. What do you do outside of fighting, man? What kind of makes you tick week in, week out? Is that just
so? Basically, when I'm not in the gym, I'll just be chilling. I love to get to the beaches and the parks or
So whereabouts? You're in Green Square, you telling me?
Just not far from there.
So Bondi, that whole areas where you kind of...
I like the little beaches out
there. Okay, nice. More quieter ones.
I'm not chilling.
Oh
man, I have to have a little chill and so spend time with my girlfriend, my dog, my friends. No, but like I'm over the partying side. I mean, like. I'll go there. I only really want to do like events and stuff. Somewhere it's going to be good little memory, but the whole going out all weekend for that reason doesn't do anymore.
You do have your own time. You just want to chill. There's so much chaos.
I feel like I live in a country, Australia, man. We waste so much time, even still. Like yesterday, I went up to the La Perouse ways, sat with my girlfriend, my friend, my dog, and his girlfriend. We had a sick day, just laughing and joking on the beach. Watched a beautiful sunset, and I came home. Such good form. I was like, "There's no reason I can't do this. Not only every weekend, but nearly every day. Like when I've got the opportunity to, and like it's just." I don't know, I put too much, like I say, I think I focus too much on the gym and doing everything where I forget about life a little bit as well.
Yeah. You need it, man.
I need to step outside. Like,
100%.
That's where I'm going to try and change around. It's like when I'm not coaching or training myself, I want to cut off completely from it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't. If it's watching something or thinking or talking to something about
Definitely,
fighting,
man.
you know what I mean? I need to like step away from it, do something. And I remember years ago, it stuck with me, and it's like I said, it's only the last couple of years really realised the older boys, when I was the younger one fighting, they were like, get another hobby because you're going to get bored. And I think, no way, bullshit. There's never, like, I was the ones that, I was sitting outside because I was chucked out of school. I was sitting outside the gym on top of my bag, just waiting for my coach to open the gym. You know, he opened the gym, we were in always early, and it was the last one to leave. You know, I was cleaning the mats and sitting talking, like, finished at 8, me and him every night, didn't leave till 9. Cleaning and just hearing the stories, and then going home and then on YouTube, and that's the way it's the whole way it's been. I remember, like, the older boys were always saying, "Well, try and find something else, like, just get a little hobby in between so that you'll like this more." And I just was adamant that I wouldn't, and no, I can see now why. It's not that it's because I'm getting bored. It's just like, no, I need to like just get my mind away
healthy
from
for
it.
you.
It's
healthy for you.
Think and do other things and have a wee bit of fun, trying other shit, and then when it counts there, make it count. And I think that I'll enjoy that more. So that's I'm trying to get the car, and I never looking for a little car, so like I'm going to be trying to get as active as I can, try and find something else. So, and then if I have to drive there, I'll even drive there. And like I said, try and get as many sunsets as I can, sunrises, whatever, because it's good for the soul, all that stuff as well.
Just as important, man. That's why I mentioned cheating, because I know how important that is. I mean, not just for general living, it's important, but especially when you're carrying so much. You got your mind on so many things, and it's not easy, and there's you need something to counter attack that as well. Where you can just step away completely. And then when you do come back to it, it's like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna give.
Well, I started reading. I'm trying to read, man. Don't get me wrong. Like the first book I've actually really stuck to is Fighter's Heart as well. Sam Sierra. Way back in the day, he's traveling, and it's the only book that's getting me. So I'm trying to find other little things like that. I would love to. Don't know, make my sales. Try and find something with my sales, but like when I retire, my thing is coffee shop and my own gym. That's the two businesses on a coffee shop and my own gym. Because I love coffee, and I think just the environment, just the different people, the little chilled vibes.
Being able to talk to different
that's
people.
What I do. I love that's what I do in between. I'll go for coffees and lunches and stuff.
Nice.
That's big. Apart from fighting, that's basically all I do. I'll go have coffee at lunch, or I'll have a little nap or that. No, so they're the two things. So I'm thinking, I want to be a coffee. What do I need to do first? Let's start maybe try and get a part-time job getting a coffee. Do you know what I mean? So that means like maybe 3 mornings or 3 days a week I'm doing, even if it's only 4 or 5 hours a day, there's 4 or 5 hours I'm doing something else that I'm learning about. I used to hate coffee, and I was working in a factory at the time, and the head charge hand at the time, Jonathan Hickson, he was telling me how much he's in coffee and all about it, and how he wanted his own coffee shop, and mine was like, I want to be a professional fighter, and I think it was maybe a year later he had opened his coffee shop across from my gym where I was full-time fighter. So I used to go over and I was getting the coffee, used to explain the beans from different places and that, and then we just chatting as like,
it's a whole different game. I've got some mates that are heavy in the coffee game, man. It's crazy when it starts coming down to the beans and how completely. You're like, fuck, I never thought about this shit, right? Because you just buy your coffee, it tastes good, that's it. But there's all these other things that make it so good.
Even we just drink coffee normal, but like if you go like slurp it, you can actually, like when you say it's got like a nutty taste or a fruity taste, you drink coffee and you're like, how the fuck is that fruity or nutty or chocolate?
And that's what coffee. You're not thinking about it, right? You're like, fuck, I need a coffee right now, man. I need to wake up. Even though I used to have this coffee tasting set, so it was like five, whatever say it was 5 beans, one from Brazil, Africa, Monaco, wherever, and it's each coffee cup, and like how you taste it is that you get the spoon and slurp it, and then you can see and understand, now I know what he means by the nutty taste, and because you get that little twinge or something, and that's what, so it's interesting too, like It's good. It's always good to have something different, man, to focus on. I mean, I
it's
100%
good,
believe it. I
definitely,
mean, everyone should. I think that's why. Yeah, you need to have multiple things that just kind of interest you, because yeah, it's just healthy, man, and it's just good. It's important. I think it's just important for you mentally.
I agree totally.
But man, we could talk forever.
Yeah,
man.
that's it, bro.
But
Straight had to go back to the gym now.
yeah. I know, man. I know. But man, I appreciate you coming through, man. I really do. I know it was a bit of a trek for you.
Nah,
to
it's
come
good,
through,
man. I
man.
say,
But I'm sure
the mates
we'll-
just landed, so it's been good. No, we just
Yeah.
jumped in the car.
Yeah.
Had a little drive and laugh.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
haven't seen him in a while as well, so it's good.
Nice.
Any opportunities catching up.
Yeah.
So.
But man, I have no doubt in my mind you'll get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
And